Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances, all wish to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all for joining. Welcome to His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily call. Today we are going to continue with the Srimad Bhagavatam series, first canto, chapter 10, verse number 22 onwards. One second, I just share my screen. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances, all wish to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Your Holiness. Please, you can take over, Maharaj. Well, Maharaj, you are on mute.
Hare Krishna. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanande. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudamani Pacharine Nirshisa Sunyavadi Pastyapya Resitane Panchakalpa Turubhascha Kripa Sindhu Deva Chapatitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before we begin today's verse, I would just feel inclined to mention that the fact that we are hearing every day, discussing every day the glories of the Lord, it allows us to go deeper into our relationship with the Lord. The more we know about the Lord, the more we become attracted to the Lord, the more we understand our relationship with the Lord, and the more we can somehow or other push back the effects of the negative environment known as this material world, constituted by the three modes of material nature, especially passion and ignorance. To hear and chant the glories of the Lord and the association with devotees is one of the most powerful ways to relieve one of all of the stress, anxiety, fear, and ignorance that comes by associating with the material energy. The more we do this with a sense of eagerness and the sense to learn more and more about the Lord and hear about the Lord, and also as we hear and learn, we also get insight on how to apply the knowledge that we receive in our life in Krishna consciousness. And this will elevate our consciousness. The mind will become clear and everything will become natural. And our relationship with the Lord will be very much experienced continuously. Now this process of hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord in the assembly of devotees is the essential principle of spiritual elevation and attraction to the lotus feet of Krishna. We should continue to do this and seek every opportunity to engage in these activities. And you will see that those who steadily take part in these activities, their consciousness is gradually being raised higher and higher to the transcendental platform. And therefore, they're becoming happy. So this is the benefit of this activity, which is the essence of Krishna consciousness. So today, we'll continue with our discussion. And this section is very enlightening because it gets into the nature of the love for Krishna by his intimate associates. As we hear about the glories of the Lord from those who have fully surrendered to the Lord in love, this also inspires us in our devotional service to take on some of those qualities and the practices that they perform in order to make progress in our Krishna consciousness. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 10, verse number 22. Saeva bhuyam nirvirya koditam swajiva mayam prakritim sisrik satim anama rupamani rupa anamani vidit samano nusasara shastrakrit. The personality of Godhead, again desired to give names and forms to his parts and parcels of the living entity, placed them under the guidance of material nature. By his own potency, material nature is empowered to recreate. Okay. Purport. Living entities are parts and parcels of the Lord. There are two varieties, namely Nitya Mukta and Nitya Bada. The Nitya Mukta are eternal liberated souls, and they are eternally engaged in the interpretation of transcendental loving service with the Lord in his eternal abode beyond the manifested mundane creation. The Nitya Bada, or eternally conditioned souls, are entrusted to his external energy, Maya, for rectification of their rebellious attitudes towards the Supreme Father. Nitya Bandhas are eternally forgetful of the relationship with the Lord as parts and parcels. They are bewildered by the illusion energy as products of matter, and thus they are very busy in making plans in the material world for becoming happy. They go on merrily with plans, but by the will of the Lord, both the plan makers and the plans are annihilated at the end of a certain period, as mentioned above. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9:7 as follows: O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, the living entities merge into my nature, and again, when the time of creation is ripe, I begin creation by the agency of my external energy. The word Bhuya indicates again and again, that is to say, the process of creation, maintenance, annihilation is going on perpetually by the external energy of the Lord. He is the cause of everything, but the living beings who are constitutionally part and parcel of the Lord and are forgetful of the sweet relationship are given a chance again and again to get rid of the clutches of the external energy. And to revive the living being's consciousness, the revealed scriptures are also created by the Lord. Vedic literatures are the guiding directions for the conditioned souls so they can get free from the repetition of creation and annihilation of the material world and the material body. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, this created world and the material energy are under my control. Under the influence of Prakriti, automatically they are created again and again. And this is done by me through the agency of my external energy. Actually, the spiritual spark living entities have no material names or forms. But in order to fulfill their desire to lord it over material energy or material forms and names, they're given a chance for such false enjoyment. And at the same time, they are given a chance to understand the real position through the revealed scriptures. The foolish and forgetful living being is always busy with false forms and false names. Modern nationalism is the culmination of such false names and false forms. Men are mad after false name and form. The form of body obtained under certain condition is taken up as factual. And the name also taken bewilders the conditioned soul into misusing the energy in the name of so many isms. The scriptures, however, supply the clue for understanding the real position. For men are reluctant to take lessons from the scriptures created by the Lord for different places and times. For example, the Bhagavad Gita is the guiding principle for all human beings. But by the spell of material energy, they do not take care to carry out the program of life in terms of the Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavatam is the postgraduate study of knowledge for one who has thoroughly understood the principles of the Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, people have no taste for them, and therefore they are under the clutches of Maya for reputation and birth and death. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we are getting a description of how the conditioned soul, leave it there, is attracted and bewildered by the external energy of the Lord. The external energy of the Lord is known as Maya, and Maya means that which appears to be something which it is not. Maya exists. It's not, sometimes there is a class of people who say that the material world is simply is an optical illusion. To some degree, that is correct, but it does exist. It does exist, but it doesn't exist for the purpose that the conditioned souls think. They think the material energy is existed for their enjoyment or for their manipulation. But actually, the material energy works in such a way as to cover the living entity's real consciousness and to make the living entity think that they can be happy by taking part in these false names and forms that go on in so many different categories. Sometimes the material world is called the world of names. Unlimited names, unlimited forms, all meant to distract the conditioned soul or the living being away from the real form, which is their true consciousness. In other words, the form of Krishna. Therefore, we are practicing Krishna consciousness, not material form consciousness or material activity consciousness. We're Krishna conscious. That is our nature. And our nature means that which fulfills all of our desires. And so we see, despite the fact that there are so many opportunities for the living entity to cease and to desist from their attempts to enjoy this material world, napanyapi napasyati, which means although they continue to struggle in this material world, trying to enjoy this material energy in different ways, And they see others doing the same and also becoming defeated, both them and those that they support become defeated. Still, they don't give up this futile attempt. Why? Because this illusion is very strong. And it makes one think that if you continue in the same direction, soon you will be able to be happy. Soon you'll be able to fulfill all your desires. But this never happens. And as Prabhupada mentions in the purport, after some time, all the plans and the plan makers are finished. And even while it is going on, it is just a hard struggle for existence. So this is material life. So the Lord puts the living entity into this situation because the living entity wants to be in this situation. He wants to be separate from the Lord. It cannot be separate from the Lord and be in the same place as the Lord. In other words, they can't be in the spiritual world and be separate from the Lord. That's not possible because the spiritual energy pushes everything towards the Lord. All the living entities and all activities focus on service to and pleasure of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, anyone who wants to have a different consciousness has to go to a realm that supplies that false consciousness or that different consciousness, and that's the material world. So we fall into this material world because we give up on Krishna. Or we think we can be happy without Krishna. Both of these things are an illusion. And so, but Krishna doesn't leave the living entity alone. Even if the living entity doesn't want Krishna, Krishna still makes efforts to bring the living entity back to him. And here Prabhupada says that Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are graduated stages of knowledge from the very basic principles of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna tells the difference between the body and the soul and the different types of processes of yoga by which one can elevate oneself, and ultimately he culminates in devotional service to him. He also explains this material nature and how it works, and how to disentangle oneself from these workings of the material energy. But then this all ends at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, now you've tried so many things in your own way and you haven't been successful. Now just give up all of these false ideas on how you think you could be successful and happy, and just surrender to me. So he ends Bhagavad Gita in that part, that just if one surrenders, in other words, one adheres to the guidance and the instructions of Krishna, who empowers his pure devotees to be his representative in the material world, to disseminate this knowledge to the fallen conditioned souls, then we can stop this hard struggle for existence and make progress. And then Bhagavatam begins, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now in the human form of life, your real purpose is to become self-realized. And then Bhagavatam begins where Bhagavad Gita leaves off, and then we go deeper into the philosophy and into the activities of Krishna in his different manifestations and incarnations, and into Krishna's nature in all aspects that he exhibits, his creating nature, his maintaining nature, his destruction nature, and his tattva nature, his nature where he invites the living entities to enjoy with him in different relationships in the spiritual world. So this Krishna is the source of all of this knowledge, and he makes it available as his mercy to bring the conditioned soul back. Therefore, we should not only read these books, but try to understand what they're saying. And so we can also apply them in our day-to-day life. And therefore, sadhu sangha, sarva sastri hoy. Lavamata, sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. In the association of devotees, the Lord actually empowers that environment with transcendental knowledge. And therefore, when one takes association in that arena, one immediately starts to become happy and free from the anxiety that comes by way of living in this material world and having this material body, which is full of suffering. The material body is simply made for suffering, that's all. Srila Prabhupada would illustrate this by saying, to have a material body is a bad bargain. Just like you may go to shopping and you purchase the wrong item, and that particular item is not allowed to be returned. You have to live with it. So this material body is like that. It's a bad bargain. But then again, Prabhupada said, the best use of a bad bargain means devotional service. Devotional service. But one should take the devotional service and raise themselves up above this consciousness and stay fixed in our relationship with Krishna. And if one does that regularly, then gradually one will reach the stage of attraction to Krishna. As attraction increases, then attachment develops. As that develops, affection manifests, and then ultimately love, and then one becomes eligible to return to Krishna in the spiritual world. So it's a wonderful process. Susukam kartam avyayam. It's a joyful process. Devotional service is joyful. The material body and all of its attachments appear to make devotional service difficult, but the service itself and the process itself is an expansion of Srimati Radharani, who is Bhakti Devi, the pure manifestation of devotional service to Krishna. She is very kind, and she is very, eager to give us a chance to connect with Krishna in loving devotional service. So we pray to Srimati Radharani, please engage me in the service of Krishna. Please engage me in the service of your representative, the spiritual master. And in that way, one can move towards the goal of life, Krishna consciousness. The problem is we still haven't been convinced that the material world is a place of suffering. We're still thinking that there's still some happiness in this material world. We're still trying to somehow maintain this body in such a way that we can enjoy the body in different ways. And because of that false sense, we struggle needlessly and waste time. So this material world is what it is. And now we are entering into the age of Kali. We are about 5,150 years into the age of Kali Yuga, where this age is considered the most difficult of all ages for spiritual life, in the sense that there are so many sinful activities going on in the name of normal life in the material world. People's sinful activities go on as ways of life. Where in previous ages, people were not sinful, but they were also a little bit attached to the material world for material enjoyment. And not in this age, everyone is sinful. Everyone is sinful. Why? Because they illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, gambling, and various other activities centered around these four activities are the foundation by which people live and enjoy sense gratification, so-called enjoy sense gratification. Well, therefore, we should not be enamored by or bewildered by if we see someone in this material world who's successful, such as people who are rich, people who are powerful in positions. We shouldn't think, oh boy, he's a very important person. If you're in jail and there's a very important person in jail, you have to understand he's still a criminal. Although he may be better than some of the other inmates in the jail, still he's a criminal because he's in jail. So this material world is like that. It's even though persons may be glorious from the material point of view, still they're all criminals because they have made their life centered around their own selfish interests. And they want to include others in the same nefarious activities. But we're not enamored by the so-called greatness of this material world in forms of people who have power, position, abilities like that. All of these things, even those things that they have are given to them by Krishna through the external energy. And it's not simply their own development. So study this Bhagavad Gita, read it and discuss it. Bodhyantas parasparam katyantas chamam nityam tushanti cha ramanti cha. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the thoughts of my devotees dwell in me. Their lives are surrendered unto me, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss in enlightening one and conversing about me. And Krishna explains those persons who are actually fortunate, they hear and chant the glories of the Lord. And then they may inspire others to do the same. So when we can't associate with devotees in a group, we always have so many books. We have Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and many other transcendental literatures composed by great personalities such as Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and of course, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and even some of the great devotees in our movement now. We're putting out books in glorification of the pastimes of the Lord in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So we can always surround our consciousness with these things, and these absorb ourselves, and we get an insight and an attachment for Krishna and the process of pure devotional service. Okay, we shouldn't waste time. We think one of the biggest illusions that the conditioned soul adheres to is that I have plenty of time. I'll become Krishna conscious in the future. Right now I have other things to do. And this is Maya's loudest dictate and Maya's greatest illusion. Okay, so we can stop here and see what kind of discussions we can follow.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, Maharaj, for giving such a wonderful class. This is indeed a very serious topic, or very crucial topic to think about. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead. And I'm sure you have a lot of questions because this is a very important topic. Thank you so much. Please turn on your cameras if possible. Thank you.
Mati?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, dear devotees. Okay. Yes, Scarlett Mataji.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your holiness, and all glories to all Sangha devotees. I wonder when someone tries its best to do everything spiritual, to study, to do everything, but have difficulty to control something that she lacks, the person lacks so much, not alcohol, not like that, but let us say in the food section, there's something that this person likes it very, very much and have difficulty to stay away from it, not meat, not those things. And pray all the time, and please, please, please help me so that I can avoid it and so on. But it doesn't happen. Is it because it's not time, or is it because the person has this condition that it's in this life you just get that much, more than that can't, you have to born again, that's why you cannot get rid of that? Could it be like this, or what? Why is that?
People get attached to certain foodstuffs or certain little hobbies that are a waste of time, and they have a hard time giving it up, although they're practicing devotional service. When Prabhupada was here, he encouraged us. He said, don't let these little things stand between you and Krishna. In other words, he encouraged us to give it up. When we see how insignificant they are, we can see that actually they're blocking our progress in devotional service, because it's an attachment, it's a material attachment. So find some formula by which one can reduce and ultimately give up these frivolous and useless attachments. People have certain foodstuffs that they constantly think of, and then every day they're always finding opportunities to indulge in such things. So habit creates these things, and then we develop an attachment for them. But through the process of pure devotional service, and more important, through the association of devotees, and these things are easily given up. And we can talk about them to our friends and the other devotees and say, this is the situation. Well, can you help me? I want to give these up. And then the most important thing is we have to want to give them up. That's important, because if we don't want to give them up, then it becomes, then they'll never leave. So, yeah, I think each one of us, and I could frankly say each one of us struggles at one time in our Krishna consciousness with these things. But you'll see, as you make progress in devotional service, what was once an attachment is no longer even an interest anymore. And this will come all the way to the point where everything in this material world will seem to be useless and insignificant. You have to practice that and learn how to give it up. You can also pray to Krishna, my dear Lord, I'm so attached to eating chocolate and I can't give it up. And I know it's not good for me because chocolate is not a very clean food. It's got worms and bugs inside of it. But still, it tastes so good, and I can't think of anything else when I'm thinking of something sweet. My mind just goes on to the chocolate, and then I head down to the store. And then there's people who have so many attachments in different ways, food items, sweets, and other things, or maybe certain idiosyncrasies, little games that they like to play. But association with devotees, praying to Krishna to help you get, and realizing that these things are blocking your progress in spiritual life. You have to realize it. as Prabhupada said, don't let these things stand in the way between you and Krishna. He said that.
Does this answer, Mataji?
Yes, and still I have something that it's difficult for me to still understand. When a person has been eating everything else and very easily stay away many those very, very bad things like meat, even milk and so on. But when it comes to some of vegetable, for example, it's difficult. So that I don't understand how come it was so easy for all that, but not this. And still,
if it's something that you can offer to Krishna, then it's fine. Go ahead and offer it to Krishna. And then as part of your offering, if you're offering food to Krishna, if you have some vegetable, offer it to Krishna. And after a while, when you start offering it to Krishna, then you can take the remnants as prasadam. And gradually you'll become detached to it, because once Krishna accepts, it becomes prasadam, and then that prasadam will purify you.
I'm so sorry. Can one make leek in prasada? Leeks, like spring onions and leeks? No
onions, no.
Exactly. That is what I mean.
Yeah, well, these things, and yeah, because they're foods in the mode of passion, and they agitate the body and mind. No onions, no garlic, no caffeine. If you want Krishna, why can't we give up these little tiny things? Compared to Krishna, these little things are so insignificant. But it's a taste, and people get attached to these things. Practice giving it up. Srimati?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, yeah. Mataji, does this answer your question? Yeah. Sukava Mataji, yes.
Sukava has her hand up.
Yeah, Sukava.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to your lotus feet. My question is in not completely relation to Scarlet Mataji, but similar to it, that if a devotee is trying to work hard in Krishna consciousness, why are the obstacle comes to follow the Krishna consciousness in devotee's life, Guru Maharaj?
Why does sickness come?
It's not only sickness, Guru Maharaj. It's so many other stuff as well. Like, you desire to visit Dham, you try and arrange everything, and then you can't. Circumstances go so against you. You try and do the service. You try to organize everything to perform that service, devotional service, but it doesn't work. You can't go there and offer the service. Why does this obstacle comes in your way, Guru Maharaj?
Obstacles are opportunities.
But how do you say it's an opportunity? Because you have tried so much to, you've volunteered for the service, you have tried organize your time, you have tried everything, but still you can't go there and offer your service. And then it feels bad on your part, and the other people who are relying on you feels bad as well. But it's although it's not your fault, you can't do it.
Is there anybody in devotional service who's always successful in the execution of their plans? Look at Srila Prabhupada. How many times he had 2 heart attacks coming over on the ship? He almost died. This is the material world. This is a place of struggle, it's a place of suffering. Somehow or other, we have to try our best. And even if it doesn't turn out, if we don't become depressed because we can't successfully offer, we can understand there's some benefit in not being able to accomplish what we wanted to. Devotional service is always auspicious. There's always some gain in it. Look for that gain.
But the losses, at the moment, it looks the loss is bigger than the gain because we can't see the gain at the moment.
Yeah, we will look for it. That's because you're not looking for it. Devotional service doesn't work always according to your plan. If it was, then you would be Krishna. You're not Krishna.
I thought only material thing doesn't work on what we want, but the devotional service, I thought Krishna will help us too.
Maybe Krishna wants something different. He wants you to do it a different way. Or he wants you to see how determined you are to keep trying despite the fact that you were unsuccessful. Or he wants you to call out to him in devotion and say, Krishna, save me. We just put our plans in progress, and then when it doesn't work, we get bummed out and we go sit in a corner and cry or something. This is off the sentimental platform. I could sit here and list all of the things that are going wrong with me right now, but I won't, because it has nothing to do with the class. So it's the way life is. Keep trying. And if then nothing works, just pick up your beads and chant Hare Krishna. And then you're in the best position.
That's so true, Guru. That's so true.
My dear Lord, don't you understand that that everything I do has to be sanctioned by you? We pray like that. My dear Lord. Everything I do has to be sanctioned by you.
Okay.
If it's not sanctioned by you, I might not do so many things.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah, we think we're the controller. We think we're the doer.
It's not, no, Guru Maharaj, we don't think that we are controller. It's just because we know that we have to offer the devotional service, and whenever the opportunity comes, we try and accommodate that in the material, our schedule. So we just push material stuff away, go for the devotional service, and then it doesn't work. Then you feel, oh, hi, it's just something I've done wrong there. What was the reason? Why is it not working?
Well, realize that it's devotional service is in the internal energy of the Lord. It's controlled by Srimati Radharani, not by you. Pray when these things happen. Just pray.
Okay. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. That's such a nice question. Yeah, Guru Maharaj, I have a continuation on this topic. Like, suppose we are doing our part of devotional service or whatever we are doing on a daily basis, but suddenly something comes up which we don't expect. At the time, what should we think, that this material world is like this and leave it like that and do our devotional service, or like we can think in the way that it's our karma coming to us, or whatever past deeds we did, based on that it's coming back. So what should we think in that direction, in that way, in that situation, Maharaj?
Krishna says, in all cases, just depend on me.
That's true. Yeah.
He said, in all situations, just depend on me.
Yeah. Yes, Gurumaharaj. Thank you. So we have two questions on chat, Gurumaharaj, by Ileana Mataji. She's asking, how can you not identify with the male, female, animal, or human body? The samskaras that we have carried with us for countless lifetimes are very strong. Sometimes it happens to feel so strongly that this feeling surpasses the rational thought of what we are. Unfortunately, it also surpasses the awareness of being eternal souls. Is it also important to work on the material level to overcome these conditionings? With a psychological work, I think.
Now you can work on a material level to overcome them, because there's no solution on the material level. Just realize that any material attachments are ingrained moods of functioning is simply due to the association of the material energy. Chant Hare Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna will help you go beyond these things. And associate with devotees as much as possible. Go to the kirtans, go to the satsangs, go to the seminars, go to the temple, go to the bhakti vrikshas. The mind will defeat you unless you have association with devotees. The mind will take over. You have to have regular association with devotees. That means every day. Material energy is too strong. It's not possible. Only with sadhu sangha, association with devotees, can you somehow move forward in devotional service. So marry a devotee. Are you married?
No,
Ileana Mataji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. No, I'm not married. I have a boyfriend, no devotees.
He's not a devotee?
He is no devotees.
Make him a devotee. Preach to him.
Repeat, please.
Preach to him all the time. Make him.
Okay.
If you try to preach, making him a devotee, you'll become a devotee also. If he has any attraction for you, any love for you, then tell him, if you really love me, you've become Krishna conscious. Material association will drag you down. So, yeah, we have to associate with devotees, and if our partner's not devotees, we have to make them devotees.
It's not simple.
Yeah. If you try, Krishna will help you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, Guru Maharaj, there is a comment by Nachingalila Mataji. She's saying, Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. If I may share what I have read the other day and it really helped me, it is connected to Sukhava Mataji's question. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.24, first canto, 8th chapter, 24th verse. Text and purport are really helpful to give strength and peace of mind while going through difficulties.
It's Queen Kunti's prayer. What does it say?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. It's
Read
24th
it.
verse. Yes, Guru Maharaj. I'll open that verse now. One second. Point 8.24. 1 second. Guru Maharaj. Vishan Mahavne Purushata Darshanat.
You go to the translation.
Yes, Guru.
My dear Krishna, your lordship has protected us from the poison cake, rate, fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from suffering during our exile in the forest, from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Asvatthama. And Queen Kunti and her sons were put into so many difficulties. Bhishma Dev, he used to cry when he used to hear what the Pandavas had to go through. And they were intimate friends and relatives of Krishna, and still they had to go through so many difficulties. Bhishma Dev, a powerful general, he would cry just thinking how much they had to suffer. And here's an example. Queen Kunti is saying what they had to go through. Poison cake was given to Bhishma. They were sent into a house to live in the house as a gift from Duryodhana, and once they were in the house was set on fire. Fortunately, Vidura saved them by warning them ahead of time, and they built a tunnel underneath the house and they escaped the fire. Hidimbi was a cannibal, and she came after Bhima. And Bhima, Hidimba was a cannibal. Bhima killed a cannibal, but then his sister Hidimbi, she wanted to marry Bhima, so he actually married her. He married this cannibal because he killed her brother. From the vicious assembly when they tried to disrobe Draupadi, when they were suffered in the forest for 13 years. Now Asvatthama is throwing his brahmastra at the last living heir to the throne, Maharaj Parikshit. Krishna saved them in every case. Krishna will save you also. Just call out to Krishna. Krishna save you. Krishna, I know nothing but you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yeah, Scarlett Mataji, you have one more question.
Yes, there are two things I'm thinking about. One is I have read very much about Queen Kunti and Arjuna and everything. And what I have understand of their situation, it's difficult for me to compare myself and think that, you see, they have done it, you're going to make it too, because I see them as very exalted people. They were cousin to Lord Krishna. Compared to me, that I'm nothing, it's difficult for me to think that Krishna will help me in the same way that he helped them. It was exalted people. So that I'm really trying to work on it and learn to accept it.
Okay. That means you don't know the philosophy at all. That means Krishna is only for certain people and not for everybody. That's basically what you're saying. Oh, he's not for me because I'm so fallen. He saved Jagai and Manai, who are so sinful. that their sins were so numerous that even Yamaraj, who was recording all the sins, couldn't even keep up with the sins, but he saved them also. There's so many other examples where Krishna saved so many living entities. He's even saving devotees now in the very minute where we're talking. And you think, oh, well, he won't save me because I'm not so advanced. The point is, if you want to get Krishna's mercy, you have to call at him with feeling. My dear Lord, I am completely dependent on your mercy. This is the situation. Please give me your shelter. Please give me your protection. But we're so stubborn, we think we can solve our problems, therefore we don't call out to Krishna. Therefore we think it's not for us, it's just about what's in the books, but it's not relevant now. And this is completely wrong. Krishna is always Krishna, 24/7, eternally. And he is inclined to his devotees. But you have to show Krishna you want him. If you don't show it, then he may also be there, but not to the extent that you expect. When you actually want him from the core of your heart, he's there faster than you can even offer your prayers. Okay, Raj.
Yeah.
Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to yourself, all of the Vaishnavas. Maharaj, listening to this conversation, I was thinking about a sutra that I heard from Keshava Maharaj that was working very well for me and then collapsed. And he said, don't give up the things that you want most or what feels right, or what feels nice now. And I was playing that over and over again. And then for many days, I was overcoming my weakness. Sorry.
Can you repeat it?
Yeah, he said,
slowly.
Don't give up what you want most, but what feels nice now. And that was working for me. I was playing it over and over again, and it was working for me for many days. But then one day I felt, oh, I've got this now, I've got this, and I stopped playing it and I stopped meditating on it, and then everything started going wrong.
Welcome to Krishna consciousness.
So
everything's based on desire.
I need to go back and keep meditating on that so that I can keep getting the mercy to overcome weaknesses.
The idea is that just because you make the prayer doesn't mean it's that's the finish of it.
Yeah, I know.
Don't give up what you want most for what feels good right now.
Mm.
In other words, don't give up the spiritual for the material, although the material appears to be more pleasing and more available.
Mm.
We also say, if you give up the spiritual for the material, you lose both.
So we have to meditate on this all the time then.
Yeah, it's good meditation. Meditate on that along with the holy name.
Mm. Okay, thank you.
Krishna's kind, don't kind, but you have to show Krishna you want him. There's a lot of people who call out to Krishna, but they don't really want Krishna. All they want is Krishna's favors.
Mm.
Krishna's energy without Krishna.
I was foolish in thinking by taking on more service, then I'm showing him, but that's not enough. I have to be meditating on this all the time.
Well, if you increase your service, that's very nice. That's an indication of devotion.
But it's not enough to overcome weaknesses.
Weakness is overcome by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. When you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you become powerful, you become fearless, you become clear, your mind becomes clear.
Okay, that's another thing I need to focus on more then. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raj Prabhu. Thank you so much. Guru Maharaj, if you may allow, I want to share a little bit. I attended a self-care retreat of His Grace Mahatma Prabhu. So Prabhuji was telling that we have to always think that Krishna is always with us and he is caring for us. So instead of getting discouraged that will Krishna love me or Krishna is there for me or not. So you have to always think that Krishna is always there with you. He's watching you and like it's a self-care, like don't get discouraged. That's what he said. Maharaj.
Shut all the windows. Not this, not from here. Oh, that, yeah. Yeah. And Krishna, you have to want Krishna 24/7.
Yeah, because Scarlett Mataji was doubtful that whether Krishna will take care of me or not. Yeah, as how much you want Krishna, that much he'll see you. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
You have to want Krishna more than you want his life.
Mm. Yes.
We don't even know what it means to attain Krishna. It's just like we just think it's a very lofty achievement, but it's much more than that. When you attain Krishna, you have reached perfection of your existence. Everything you ever wanted for every moment of your existence for billions of lifetimes comes automatically when you attain the lotus feet of the Lord.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, for
Radharani can't stop thinking of Krishna.
Yeah.
They cursed Lord Brahma because he's created eyelids he's created eyelids over the eyes, and when they blink, they can't see Krishna. So they curse him. They actually say, you're an imperfect creator. That's how badly they want Krishna. That's how much they're in love with Krishna. We can't really describe Krishna. It's not possible, but it's the perfection of existence, Krishna. Everything in this world looks like just broken pieces of glass. That's what Dhruva Maharaj said when he saw Lord Vishnu. He said, my dear Lord, I've been chasing after broken pieces of glass. Now I have found the rarest gem. What was his broken pieces of glass? He wanted a kingdom greater than his father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. There was no such kingdom available. His father was Uttanapana, the king of the earth. His grandfather was Swayambhu Manu, the king of the universe. And his great-grandfather was Lord Brahma, the father of Swayambhu Manu, who was even more powerful. And Brahma's kingdom is just like the highest realm in the material existence. He wanted something better than that. But when he saw the Lord, he considered these things that he wanted to be no more than broken pieces of glass. If sometimes you see some broken glass on the ground, you start thinking maybe somebody should clean it up right away. You know? It's just a nuisance.
Raj Prabhu, do you have any comment or question?
Hare Krishna, I just wanted to ask, so would Dhruva purified by the chanting of the names of the Lord or by the darshan of the Lord? So when did he realize that he'd been chasing broken pieces of glass? Was it after darshan, or was that all part of the purificatory process whilst he was chanting?
No, that's when he saw Krishna.
Okay.
When he saw Lord Vishnu. Then he made this, what is that? What is that verse? Oh. It's it's not in the Bhagavatam. It's in the Narada's, it's in the Bhakti Sutta, it's in the Bhakti Sutta Daya. Padam Svito through Padam Nirnayache. Yeah, beautiful verse. He offered prayers to the Lord when he saw the Lord. And he was embarrassed. But the Lord was so pleased with his devotion that the Lord gave him the kingdom anyway.
Nice. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. Story of Dhruva Maharaj was one of Lord Chaitanya's favorite stories. He would listen to it along with Prahlad Maharaj's pastimes every day.
It's very inspirational. We should make a short version of it that we can meditate on it every day.
Yeah. What else is there to do in life? There's only one thing to do, become Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dear devotees, any more questions or comments? Okay. Okay, Maharaj, I just want to announce for tomorrow's class. Tomorrow's class is with ISKCON Harrisburg devotees at the same time. Tomorrow's verse is it's Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, second chapter, 113 to 114, 2 verses.
Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Adi Leela, second chapter, 2.113, 114.
2.130 to 140.
113, 113, Guru Maharaj. 113 to 114.
Okay, we got it.
Thank you.
On the Harrisburg thing, you don't have to give me those because I receive, they give me directly, they send me the verses.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, yeah.
For Charlotte, for Charlotte, I don't know the verses, so you have
Yes.
to, I appreciate it.
Okay.
For Harrisburg, honestly, it sends me the verses 1 month ahead of time.
Yes, Maharaj, even I get that, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, dear devotees. If there are no more questions or comments, I think we can end the call here. Any last minute thing to?
So devotees, make your preparations to come to the disciples meeting. It's in New Vrindavan this year during the Easter weekend, 7th through the 10th of April. Bhuta Bhavana Prabhu and Shri Shakti have both confirmed to be there.
Yeah.
And we will be also exploring one beautiful topic called Madhurya Kandambini. by Vishwanath Chakravarti Kaur.
Jai, thank you. Thank you, Maharaj, for sharing that.
Yeah, you'll get more information. Radha Bhakti's she's listening right now, so she's making notes about what to say to the devotees about the upcoming program.
Yeah, she's saying yes, stay tuned.
Can I ask, is it only for disciples? Is it not for everybody?
It's for everybody, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
But it's a registration program, and then we close the registration at a certain point. Disciples have first privilege. So we take disciples over those who are guests coming from the outside. But we always have more room. New Vrindavan is able to facilitate many people.
Okay, thank you.
Parijata Mataji, you have your hand up. Do you have any question?
Those are the ones in the other room.
Mataji, you're on mute. Yeah.
Yes. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you and all glories to assembled devotees. I don't have a question. I was thinking about all the questions the assembled devotees have asked, and my own thought, my own what do you say, perception about this. I just wanted to add something, if I'm allowed. This was in regards with what Sukava Mataji asked about the problems faced in devotional services. Now, I had 2 points to add here, and please forgive me for any mistakes. And sometimes we do come across, I guess I have personally faced it, so we do come across obstacles in performance of devotional service. That happens. And we are practicing spiritual life whilst living in material world. So there will be troubles in devotional service caused by material reasons. So we can handle such problems with a spiritual perspective or formula, maybe. For example, if I have a pujari seva or I have a prasad cooking seva and I'm not able to reach temple on time and the car breaks down or some problem happens, I'm just not able to. So 2 things will happen. Either I cry and suffer and blame myself for everything, or I will just in my heart believe that maybe it was just not the day, maybe I was not meant to do this. So how I do it is that I know that Lord Krishna is watching and he knows my car broke down and he knows what kind of situation I'm in, and maybe I can find peace with that. And one thing to remember here is that sometimes we do commit some aparadh, or there is some offense. The Krishna takes that opportunity away from us. That can happen. Sometimes it happens. So if that happens repeatedly, if we're not able to serve and some problem or the other is there, we can actually introspect and check where we have gone wrong. And if we can't think of anything that we have not done anything wrong, or nothing comes to our head, maybe we can still done an aparadh and not unknowingly some problem has been done by us or some trouble has been created for somebody by us. So we can always ask for forgiveness. Like, oh Lord, if there's any aparadh done or any offense done, we're sorry, and please let me just retain my devotional service. If I've done anything, I'm sorry. And yes, for material reasons, yeah, sometimes problems do happen. It can be a quarrel with somebody, it can be an accident, it can be some kind of problem, just like I said, a car broke down, or it can be an illness, sudden illness. Sometimes these things happen. So, and the second thing I wanted to add, and this was regarding Scarlett Mataji's question. This is what I think personally. and she says that, okay, Gudakesha, Arjuna is special, no doubt. Radharani is special, no doubt. Kunti Maharani and all these great personalities, they are special, no doubt. But then we also see that he is our personal God. I had the same feeling a couple of years ago that he saved so and so, he saved Draupadi, and why would he come to save me? I'm not on that level. And then I was in the car when this happened, and a truck drove past, and behind the truck it was written, "Oh my God." And it was just a statement, "Oh my God," but then I thought about it, and oh my God. So he is a personal God. It doesn't matter whether you're special or not, you're mediocre or whoever you are. My God means that we have in our heart this relationship with Lord Krishna, and he is there for everyone. For example, in Maharaj Leela, of course, he is with Srimati Radharani and she has her position, but then everybody feels that Krishna is dancing with us. So he has this relationship with everyone, and he was married, he had so many wives, and he was simultaneously, he was there with everybody, gave peace to everyone, gave love to everyone, and attention to everyone. Similarly, I think with all living entities, if we come in contact with Lord Krishna, he is there. We don't have to feel left out or anything, because the word "oh my God" means my God. Whenever we say "oh my God," we don't think, okay, his God or Scarlet Mataji's God or Maharaj's God or Revati Mataji's God, Sukhava Mataji's God. My God, that's a personal relationship we have with him. So yes, there are personalities who had the chance to be with Lord Krishna and have had his association, but we can also establish that kind of relationship with him. All we have to do is just chant. And since Maharaj has just said that you chant and things will happen and they'll fall into place, that can happen, and that happens because mantra has its effect on you. It has its own vibration, and there's no difference between Lord Krishna and his name. And also one very important thing to be careful in this path, and I'm working on it myself, is the moment we feel that we are very important, that okay, now we are initiated or we have done this and we have done that, we can be the best preachers, I cook the best prasad and all that. And the moment we feel that we are very important, we are entitled, the Maya Devi catches us, and then Krishna won't intervene. So let's be very careful and not get attached to any titles that we have. We're simple servants, and that's my observation. And sorry for any offense. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you so much. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.